A lot of you who are Barca fans will not be sort of agreeing with what I have to say in this video, and a lot of you will not even like what I have to say, but I think it's an honest confession about the whole Julián Álvarez situation, and I think all the three parties involved, Julián Álvarez, Atlético Madrid and Barcelona, have equal parts blame to share when it comes to complicating the situation into a certain degree that now it has become one of the ugliest transfer sagas and situations that I have seen in my lifetime. And it's not better, it's not healthy for any of the involved parties. It's not good for the reputation of Barcelona. It's not good for Atletico Madrid's reputation as an employer and as a club, and it is definitely now starting to harm the reputation of one of the cleanest and one of the most humble kids that play football in today's day and age, Julián Álvarez. Now, I understand that there is a desperation from all the parties. Julián Álvarez desperately wants to play for Barcelona. Barcelona desperately wants to sign a number 9 who would be settling for the future, and definitely desperation from Atletico Madrid to hold on to their best player. But all this desperation at this point in time is now coming together to create a situation that is combustible, to say the least, and let's talk about it. So welcome to another video of Talking Tiki Taka. This is Azim, and in this video I will try to understand what is the current situation and how it has escalated to a certain point that it has not only become ugly, it has become absolutely unhealthy for all the club members, the players, the management staff, and the coaching staff. So, to simply put it into words, when Barcelona started the instigation and started to approach Julián Álvarez and showed general interest towards the player, there was this clear consensus from the unanimous consensus from Atletico Madrid that no, we are not going to sell our best player to one of our rival clubs who has been competing in the domestic leagues and has been our biggest challenge in the absence of Real Madrid's drop of form in the last 2 seasons. So it does make quite a bit of sense from Atletico Madrid's perspective, not selling your best player to your direct rivals. And from that perspective, and that from that point on, what happened is Barcelona tried to approach Julián Álvarez personally, and that is something that happens regularly in football. Even in job sector, you do not go to a company and say that we want to hire this resource of yours. You reach out to him, yes, unofficially, and just get an understanding of his or her general interest to join your company. And the same happens for clubs as well. Yes, maybe in exchange of players, they sometimes talk with the agents, but there is always this first informal approach to the players and the agents in order to understand the interest that they have in the club, joining in the club. So it's no harm done in what Barcelona did, but Atletico Madrid made a very big issue out of it that Barcelona were trying to do something illegal, Barcelona were trying to do something unethical. I'm sure Atletico Madrid has done the same for many players, and this is how basically transfer markets operate. You get an understanding from the player first of all, and then you approach the clubs officially. You cannot just complete all the official formalities and paperwork and then reach out to the player, hey, do you want to join our club? It doesn't work like that. First, you have to have a consensus from the player as well, and after that you go into the paperwork. So what Atletico Madrid did is basically they were annoyed, they were pissed off because there was such genuine interest from the part of Julián Álvarez, who wanted to join Barcelona more than anything else. And what he said during the time of the World Cup, that made a lot of sense, because eventually if you do not find a way to play your best football, if you do not fit into the team that you are playing in, and you feel that your talent and your time is being wasted, then you definitely have the authority and you definitely have the freedom to choose which club you want to represent. And I see no harm in that as well. But eventually, when things started snowballing, that is exactly when it became extremely ugly. Now, why I say Barcelona had a share part of blame to share, because I think as one of the biggest clubs in the world, as one of the most reputable clubs in the world, you cannot show such desperation and let your image get ruined to this extent just to sign one single player. And you also have to factor in that Atletico Madrid and Julián Álvarez are absolutely ruining their image as well. Now, how Julián Álvarez is ruining his image is because after a certain point of time, if you do not belong to the Barcelona camp, what Julián Álvarez is doing right now, you would start questioning his professionalism. And that is not a good sign for any player, let alone a young, promising aspect. Atletico Madrid, Julián Álvarez is not going to the training, he is not smiling, he is visibly upset, lots of newses are coming, he is leaking informations to Argentine medias, and there are tons of speculation surrounding his agents and his players not really playing by the rule book, and that eventually doesn't have a good impact. What I've said, as Barcelona fan, I love it because I see my club going after a player, being hungry for it. I see the player being very interested to join a top club, and definitely for Barcelona, it's probably a good thing, but not so much if you see it from any other club's perspective, because then you would be sort of ringing the alarm bells that okay, what if we sign him and he does the same for us as well? Arsenal is primarily interested, so I think Arsenal will be questioning themselves as well. So why would we be buying this player for 150 million when he is so desperate to join another club? What is the guarantee that if we give him a 4-year or a 5-year contract, he wouldn't be saying in the next summer to join Barcelona? So this is a thing that Julián Álvarez is doing, is going to impact his career, because he's such a clean kid. He doesn't have those reputations where he's seen as a madly party kid or let's say just in general being unprofessional. He's one of those kids that everyone sort of likes and admires, and just in general, even if you are a Brazil or any national team fans, you do like to see him play for the Argentina national team and just in general cheer him on. So it's not good for him, and Atletico Madrid definitely is coming out as a very hostile employer, and they're just also losing their reputation as well. When a player is so adamant in not playing for you, not serving you, then you definitely have to keep the doors open, because it's not slavery. Just because you have a contract, you cannot force a player to play for you if the conditions are not suitable for the player. And I do blame Diego Simeone here as well, because I feel it is not right, being a fellow Argentine, not being able to understand what's best for his career, a fellow Argentine's career. And this is not done. What Argentina and what Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone is failing to understand is that, look, no one here is asking for charity. No one is trying to rob you. If you sell Julián Álvarez, yes, a very important player for your team, absolutely no doubt. But if he is not fully feeling like representing the colors of your club, then maybe letting him go is the best possible option. And you are getting big chunk of money for that. There are clubs who are lining up. In fact, if I just talk about Barcelona, they're more than ready to pay you whatever the sum of money you are asking for, not 500 million. That's not realistic, and Atletico Madrid is also fully aware of that. So be it 100 million, be it 120 million, even be it 150 million, if it was a proper negotiation, I do strongly believe that Barcelona would have eventually gone to 150 million for Julián Álvarez. If we can pay 80 million for Gordon, 75, 76 million for Rodri or any other player, I think it is more than considerable to contemplate on the situation where we get a striker who is one of the genuine top strikers of the world right now, and definitely a sure shot safety net for us for the next 5 to 10 years. So that investment would have made sense. All it required is a bit more professionalism from Atletico Madrid and a bit more understanding from all the parties involved, and that is eventually where things could have been really resolved. But at this point in time, how things are looking, it's absolutely ugly. It's neither good for Barcelona's reputation, not being able to close the deal, being one of the toppest clubs in the world. It's definitely not good for Atletico Madrid. They are coming out as a hostile club. They are coming out as a club that might not be the best place for some of the younger talents, and they would definitely be questioning themselves, hey, look, if I join your club and if I really don't feel like playing in your club, would you make such a difficult situation for me as well? And those are some questions that definitely will require answering from Atletico Madrid's perspective. And last but not the least, Julián Álvarez is definitely one of those players who I do not see as he's not a bad boy. He's not a traditional bad boy. He doesn't have any major accusations. He's a very soft-spoken kid. He is a very smiling kid, and just seeing him in general so upsets me. So all I want to say is until this deal either completely fails or goes through or the transfer window closes, I'm not going to talk about the Julián Álvarez situation anymore, because I think it has gone to a certain degree where it is not even unhealthy at this point. It's just downright toxic. So I just hope all the parties involved finds a solution, and more than anyone, more than anything else, I just hope this doesn't ruin the progress of the career of such a young, talented kid who is Julián Álvarez. So let me know what your opinion is in this matter, and who do you think shares the largest amount of blame, and what eventually do you think is going to happen in this whole Álvarez, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona love triangle. So see you in the next video. Till then, and as always, Visca el Barça.